Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. We're here once again with the High Elves, going to be taking on the Lizardmen, so let's go ahead and jump straight to the army composition. As you can see, chilling in the back here, we've got Teclis for the Lord option. He's got Nets of Amantok, Enfeebling Foe, and Regrowth for his spell selection, all very strong spells. And for this build, we've gone with a triple Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower build, so each of these Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers has been juiced up to double silver chevrons, so rank 5, and that does give them, number 1, better accuracy, and number 2, it also improves their refire rate. When you give ranged units chevrons, it improves both their refire rate and their accuracy, so you can see you're up to 155 missile damage over 10 seconds, meaning their refire rate has been buffed. So we've got 3 of them. We've got 2 units of Dragon Princes for that nice shock damage. We've got 4 units of Spearmen spread all across the way here, 2 Lothern Sea Guard, and 2 Nobles for that anti-large armor piercing. And that's pretty much it for my army, relatively straightforward. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Lizardmen. We've got 2 Chameleon Skinks out here. The Lord is going to be Kroq-Gar. He's also got a Saurus Scarvet as well as a Skink Priest, Lore of Heavens. If we take a look at the spell loadout here, looks like Harmonic Convergence, Wind Blast, and Curse the Midnight Wind. Very, very good spell selection. I agree with all of those. Excuse me. We've also got whole Mesosaurus here. Looks like 3 Saurus Warriors, 2 with shields, 1 without, 3 Saurus Spears, all without shields, a Skink Cohort, a Temple Guard in the center, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and kick the battle into full gear. We'll watch as things unfold. So you can see we're going to be targeting all across the line here. This bolt thrower on this dino, this bolt thrower on Kroq-Gar here, and the other bolt thrower on the Skink Priest. You can see he's already taken quite a bit of damage there, so pretty solid so far. Now we're going to be focusing fire with all 3 onto Kroq-Gar here because, you know, they don't do the most damage, but with the higher refire rate and the increased accuracy, they can definitely do some pretty serious work. You can see Kroq-Gar starting to take some shots, maybe about 5 to 10% of his HP so far. Nothing really to write home about, but just going to be kind of doing some positioning and some scouting, trying to get a sense of the overall battlefield here. And I do spot these Chameleon Skinks, so we're going to immediately pull in with these Dragon Princes. The Chameleon Skinks are right by the edge of the map here, so they don't have anywhere to run. They're just going to get mowed down by these Dragon Princes. Super elite cavalry for the High Elves. These Chameleon Skinks, unfortunately, do not stand a chance. That being said, being a little bit risky with Teclis here to pull up, but we are trying to drop Net of Amantok here on Kroq-Gar so that we can pin him in place and just allow these bolt throwers to just fire unimpeded for a minute without him trying to dodge the shots, which my opponent was doing a very good job of trying to dodge those shots as much as possible. But now we've got him in the net, so we're going to be just allowing the bolt throwers to shoot in there. We've even got the Lothern Sea Guard also loosing some arrows into that fight there, so we were able to do a little bit of damage. Probably wasn't worth it in the end, but still. Again, just cleaning up the Chameleon Skinks on the far side with those Dragon Princes. These Dragon Princes are trying to line up for a position for a nice rear charge here. They are going to be charging into Saurus Spears, which is a little bit dangerous, but my idea here is we'll fix them in place with the Spearmen and then get a quick rear charge with these Dragon Princes. It's a pretty decent charge. Does quite a bit of shock damage. You can see both these units taking about 20 to 30% of their HP just in pure shock damage there. And yeah, this Saurus Scarvet's trying to get into my backline here, but we did drop the what is it? Enfeebling Foe on him to debuff his melee stats. A very nice Wind Blast coming from my opponent right across this unit of Spearmen here, and now he's going to debuff them also with the Curse of the Midnight Wind. So yeah, this Spearman is not long for this world. Likewise, this one will take a lot of damage from those Saurus as well. But the Skink Priest sitting in the middle here is going to be caught between a crossfire of both Lothern Sea Guard, so he'll start to take quite a bit of damage. You can see the Enfeebling Foe, Saurus Scarvet here, dueling the 2 princes in the Lizardman backfield. There are still some Saurus coming in, and Kroq-Gar also taking quite a few shots, though, from the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower. You can see Kroq-Gar hasn't even gotten into melee yet. He's already below half HP, so that's the power of those Bolt Throwers there. Once you give him a few chevrons, we're going to use an Overcast Winds of Net here just to pin in place this entire pocket and just continue to fire in with those bolt throwers unimpeded. You know, if we hit Kroq-Gar, if we hit the other Saurus Scarvet, all of it's good. And now we're just going to be using the Dragon Princess to try and keep the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower safe. You can see these 2 units of Saurus were compromising this position here. And honestly, this unit of Saurus, I can see where he's going, trying to collapse on this unit of Spearmen. But honestly, he needs to either get on these Lothern Sea Guard or get on this Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, because both of them are doing a lot of work right now. You can see Krokar's trying to flee the field, got just barely a little bit of hit points left, but thankfully the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers do have quite long range. This unit of Dragon Princes over here has just been cycling in and out aggressively, and now this unit over here is going to start doing the same, and because we've got the units to enrage, they're not going to go on the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower if I can help it. So yeah, once again, Enfeebling Foe being dropped on this Saurus Scarvet here. He's going to come through and do quite a bit of shock damage to these Lothern Sea Guard, but the Nobles are right behind him, just slapping at his tail with their halberds, and they're going to be able to do some nice damage here. Saurus Scarvet's not going to be too much longer for this world. He's taking a lot of damage in this situation, so very fun stuff. You can see the bolts also coming in since Krokar is pretty much well out of range now and it's routed off anyway. So with the 3 heroic units down for the Lizardmen, a lot of these Temple Guard sorry, not the Temple Guard, but the Saurus Warriors are going to have a tough time holding their leadership together, particularly with repeated cycle charging from the Dragon Princes here. We'll watch them charge this unit of Skink Cohorts. They've just been cycling in and out here since the Lizardmen don't really have any units to stop us from doing so. Once again, doing the same thing with this Dragon Prince over here. And now the Nobles are just kind of going to try and come in for a cleanup duty here. You can see the Dragon Princes flying in. We're now going to pull straight through, and Teclis is going to use his item here, so Fiery Convocation bound right down the line here, going to be doing quite a bit of damage to these Saurus Warriors, and yeah, just roast them right through the middle there, so that's going to send one unit to enrage. The other one's not quite enraged yet, but at this point the balance power is pretty heavily in my favor. We're just collapsing these last few pockets of troops here. Temple Guard holding out very, very well, going to get charged in the flank by Dragon Princes, and they'll take some damage, but as soon as they turn around and start to thwack on the Dragon Princess, they'll do a lot of damage there. That being said, you know, we've got the Nobles coming through. At this point, the leadership for the Lizardmen unit's just not able to hold up, and we're going to drop an Enfeebling Foe here on these Temple Guard, and one more quick cycle charge should be enough to break their leadership and send the Lizardmen army into army losses, and looks like we do proc that, and the battle is won for the High Elves. So very well played to my opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that battle. It's a fun battle, you know, fun matchup. It's one that previously I would have said that the High Elves were, you know, the underdog in this matchup, but since trying out this triple Bolt Thrower build, I do think that it has some merit to it. Now, that being said, if the Dino player decides to not bring any Dinos and just go super infantry heavy, a build like this can struggle, definitely. We'll kind of talk about that in just a second here, but yeah, overall 158 kills in the Dragon Princess, 108 here. The Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers didn't get a lot of kills, but again, they're just focusing on the Dinos most of the time. Again, Spearmen didn't get too many kills, but the units that did the work definitely were the ones that were supposed to here, the Dragon Princes, and yeah, and otherwise. So for my opponent here, you can see the Saurus Spears did relatively well. 115 kills in the Temple Guard, a very nice unit in this matchup. 8 kills in the Skink Priest Lord of Heavens. I'm surprised he didn't get more from that really nice Wind Blast there, but just getting the Dinos taken out by the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower is very, very rough. And previously I have kind of ragged on the Bolt Throwers. I'm not a big fan of them in general, or previously I haven't been at least. But I found that if you actually give them a few chevrons, the Bolt Throwers can be super solid. So they're 700 base, and typically what I like to do is juice them up to rank 5. It costs an extra 150 points, brings them up to 850 each, but it does buff their refire rate and their accuracy, so they're more likely to hit and they'll fire more often. And I've just found that once you juice them up a little bit more, they become a lot more cost effective. Likewise, of course, the Noble is very good there. On the flip side, if we take a look at the Lizardmen, if the Lizardmen were to go with more of an infantry-centric composition, so example, you bring Krokar maybe on a cold one instead, and you know, you still bring the Scarvet, but again, on a cold one, maybe cut down some of his abilities there. Same with Krokar, we can honestly probably cut, well, maybe we'll keep Deadly Onslaught just for the sake of, and Skink Priest, definitely a good pick. Lord of Heavens in this matchup. Harmonic Convergence, Wind Blast, of course the Midnight Wind, all very, very good spells, so I would definitely recommend taking all of those. And then rather than going with the big dinos, you know, on these guys, you save a little bit of money in that way, and you invest that and maybe bring a few more Temple Guard, some Saurus Warriors with shields. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of Saurus with spears. I just don't find them to be super cost effective. They have less melee attack and less overall weapon strength. They do have a bonus versus large, but still. Something like this, I think, would be a good place to start. More of an infantry-centric composition, but yeah. overall, I think that the Lord of Heaven's definitely a good pick there, and this triple, this double noble, techless double noble, triple Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower build only really works if your opponent ends up bringing a lot of big dinos. So if you were to go with a really wide kind of infantry composition like this, you could even juice up on some skink cohorts with javelins. Something like this would be a lot harder for the High Elves to deal with. Granted, they can still cycle charge you with the Dragon Princes, but Temple Guards, because they have crazy high mass and are very sturdy units leadership-wise and combat stat-wise, the Dragon Princes will have a pretty tough time taking down 3 units of Temple Guards, so you're relatively safe in that aspect. And yeah, it's an interesting matchup. I still think the Lizardmen have a slight advantage here, but for example, if you were to go for a very infantry-centric composition here, and the High Elves decided to bring something different, like let's say, you know, you bring a couple Swordmasters or something, suddenly the Lizardmen could be in trouble, but it's a very dynamic matchup. I do think the Lizardmen have a slight edge here, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you like this kind of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. And yeah, we'll see you next time.